Whew. Today's an exceptional opportunity, not just for me, but because I get to introduce him, but for all of us. Every now and then an event happens and everyone claims they were there, whether it was Woodstock, we all know where we were on 9/11, but everyone you meet seems to have been there in some way, or at least they have a vivid and explicit memory that's been with them for a lifetime. I know that at the end of his talk here this morning, we will all have that feeling, and everyone watching on the internet who will watch this in the archives will swear that they were in the room. That's just the kind of guy that Derek Alkonis is. Derek is a true representation of the nature of the firefighter, our contradictions and our paradoxes. Derek, although genuine and unique, he's also quintessential and a role model. Although he's dynamic and captivating, he's also quiet and unassuming. And most importantly, although he's incredibly passionate and intelligent, he's respectful and understanding. Having those qualities makes Derek Alkonis one of the most interesting friends I have ever made during my fire service career. He has been a friend not only to me, but to my sons. And my sons have been friends to him and his sons. In many ways, I consider Derek to be my brother and also a father figure to my family. I am grateful that he's agreed to spend some time with us here this morning, because I know, just like at Woodstock, we will all swear 20 years from now that we were in the front row. Let me tell you a little bit about my good friend, Derek Alkonis. Over his 25-year Assistant Chief Fire Chief, Derek Alkonis has been instrumental in establishing the Los Angeles County Fire Department as a leader in fireground safety and firefighter service, wellness, and fitness. A firm proponent of training, he has developed, implemented innovative programs supporting fireground tactics, survival, and firefighter health and safety. He's an active member in the IAFF-IAFC Fire Service Joint Labor Management Wellness Fitness Initiative, the Tactical Committee, UL's Firefighter Safety Research Institute Advisory Board, and he holds bachelor degrees in biology from the University of California in San Diego. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker for FDIC 2016, Los Angeles County Fire Department Assistant Chief Derek Alkonis.
Well, thank you, Bobby, for that warm introduction, overwhelming introduction, actually. And thank you to Penwell, FDIC, and all the staff for inviting me out. It's a true honor to be here in front of you all, my peers, my friends, my coworkers, to talk to you about the fire service and about what we all love. And I would love to say that my family's here, and I can glance at them in the front row, but they're not. They're not. You would think out of 5 kids and a wife for 30 years that I'd get somebody here, right? Nobody's here, except my friends, you all. My friends from the fire department and all that, which is great. Because if you have your family here, you can at least, something goes wrong, you can glance down to them and say, and they would be smiling, and you'd know that everything was okay. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here. They've got other things to do. But this is my family. You have a family. I have a family. In addition to the LA County citizens that I'm responsible for, I'm also held accountable to these people right here, just like you are with your family. And we take that serious. They're our family. We take care of it. And we're missing one person. I mean, you're probably counting the kids, and there's one that's married and has a child. He now has 2 kids. And I'm missing one because one's serving a church mission in Texas, and he wasn't able to be in the picture. So, but it's You know, our family's just like yours. We like to take vacations, do different things. You can see we like to surf. And in California, that's how we spend our Decembers. I'm not sure how you do your Decembers, but that's the way we do it in California. And it's always about the good food. And a lot of people joke about us like, hey, you guys in California, you don't eat beef, right? Look at that picture. Come on, man. It's like right there in your face. So occasionally, I'm all about the wellness fitness thing, fitness for life. I'm all about it. But occasionally, you got to have just a killer American burger, right? So, but, you know, now that the kids have gotten older, well, of course, and it's the grandkids. I got to throw that picture up there. And now we've got 2 grandkids with 1 on the way. And I'm accountable to all of them. What I do, what I say, is a reflection of me and of them. So, but as the kids get older, we enjoy a different relationship with them. And I often spend time discussing leadership and motivation and training topics, especially with my oldest son, Ridge, who was a member of the U.S. Navy, and he's assigned to the USS Fitzgerald in the 7th Fleet and often patrols the South China Sea. And we like to talk about, you know, a variety of different topics that adults talk about, mostly about our career growth, our families, and what we're doing to hold on to our spirituality, those kind of topics. In fact, he likes to give me books to read from the Chief of Naval Operations website, and he says, hey, Dad, read this book. And I'll be reading it at the same time while we're deployed, and that way we can kind of go back and forth and share our thoughts, the beauty of the internet. And when he gives me a book, because I'm the video guy, I give him a video. So let's go to the video.
The driver last reported in stable condition. He is now recovering here at Providence Holy Cross after being extricated from the bottom of a narrow, steep canyon right next to his flaming car, airlifted out vertically by LA County Fire Air Ops team. To call this rescue dramatic and heroic, well, that may be the understatement of the day.
Well, August 14, 2015, I was going to work. It was about 5 in the morning, and a car that was tailgating me, he tailgated me for a good while, and so the car went around me, and next thing I know that the vehicle pulled in front of me and literally hit the brakes, like stopped. So with my reaction, I turned, made a right turn, turned as hard as I could to prevent from hitting the person. And when I turned, my truck lost control, was spinning. And then when I spun, I went airborne over the ravine. And so something told me to, take the seatbelt off. So I took it off, and then not realizing I was upside down, I fell, ejected from that. And as I fell coming down, the driver's door opened up. So as I'm like falling out the driver's seat, going out the door. And so as I'm falling out, I grab onto the door, the driver's door. And so I'm hanging on. And so as I'm hanging on, I'm still looking at the undercarriage from the truck. It was upside down, and I'm seeing the fire there. And so I'm like, what I'm gonna do here, because I looked down, I couldn't see the bottom. It was still dark outside. And so I said to myself, I said, well, am I gonna burn up here holding onto this truck? Or am I gonna, take my chance? And so as the fire got bigger, made some type of weird noise, and so with my instinct, I just let go. So as it's going on, I seen something like a light ricocheting off the wall of the tunnel, because my back is turned against the entrance, so I couldn't see where that light was coming from. But I did see the light ricochet off the wall, so I'm thinking someone's there. And so as I see the light, I'm calling for help, and by me being in so much pain, I couldn't really use my outside voice. I'm like, help, like that. And so as I'm saying that, the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and then a man came up to me and he asked me, are you conscious? I said, yes. He said, what is your name? I said, my name is Kenneth Jernick. He said, we're gonna get you out of here. So as I go into the hospital, they put me on this hospital bed, and the doctors come to me and they said that, you know, you're lucky to be alive. You know, that was a great fall. That was like somebody mentioned 400 feet. Others were saying different feet of the fall. They said that there's no way you should have survived that.
As soon as I saw him, I started crying because I was already crying walking to go see him, but I just let it go.
And like she said, his clothes were so singed, and he had just gotten all of that stuff because he was just starting the training. And I just couldn't believe the boots. I mean, down to the boots, everything was just black.
But if my dad wasn't here, my whole life would change. I would probably just shut down for a long, 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 long time.
If the outcome had been different, I don't know how I would have dealt with that. I would have had to stay strong for myself and for my daughter. And I know God would have kept me through it and helped me through it, but I don't know if I would have wanted to stay in California or in this house, or, you know, it would have just been totally odd and different, and it would have been very hard. Thank you very much for your rescue effort. Thank you for not giving up and for just searching and just everything that you guys did. Thank you so, so very much. You're wonderful. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
The firefighter on the end of the line didn't make the rescue. The rescue was made by the department team. It takes more than just the rescuer to help somebody. It requires the individual who works in IT, the secretaries, the administrative assistants, the helicopter mechanics, the student workers, all those in the training staff. All of those individuals, it takes a bunch of them to decide to make a difference as individuals in the job that they do. And if everybody is doing their part, performing in their role, focused on performing their job to the best of their ability, the result is a successful rescue, a life that is saved, a family that moves on, and happiness. But there's so much more to this, because peak performance doesn't happen just by chance. It's not serendipitous. Peak performance is achieved through a process that includes personal decisions. It's about holding oneself accountable. And the decision, it starts with each one of us today, even while we're here attending FDIC. So how do you make of the best of this opportunity to improve yourself while attending the workshops, checking out the presentations, visiting with the vendors, all of those things? I challenge you to make the most of the next few days. I challenge you to find real solutions facing your fire department. How do you make the best of your opportunity while here? Here's a suggestion. It's easy. Number one, identify the problem that you have in the fire department. Why were you sent here? The chief is going to hold you accountable. You were sent here probably to identify a problem, to find solutions to a problem, right? Which is number two. You've identified the problem, stay focused on finding a solution. It's out here someplace. And the last thing you want to do is you're going to come back with some form of implementation strategy. And in the business world, they often say, you can come up with a bunch of innovative ideas, but the most difficult thing is coming up with the strategy by which you're going to implement that in your organization. Be thinking about that along the way. Well, I use this strategy to find a solution to one of our most challenging issues within the LA County Fire Department. I and a host of others, of course, because Los Angeles County Fire Department is big. I mean, LA County is a big place. It's 4,000 square miles. It has 31 different fire departments. Los Angeles County is one of the 31. We cover 2,300 square miles of those 4,000 square miles. And we've got 172 stations. Some of those stations are 100 miles apart. Now, this creates a unique challenge for us because delivering consistent training message to everybody spread out over 2,300 square miles is very challenging. It's difficult. But several years ago, I attended FDIC with this problem in mind. And just like many of you have done, when you get to FDIC, you go through the course listings, right? And you're looking through it, and you try to catch the titles that catch your interest and have something to do with solving your problem that you came to solve. So as I thumbed through the conference program several years ago, several titles jumped out at me, of course. And the titles was survival. It's the kind of thing I'm interested in. We're all interested in surviving, right? So if you want to make yourself hard as a firefighter, then it's all about survival. Fire behavior fitness was a big one. Naturally, those caught my attention because those are the things I've been interested in most of my career. So one of the classes that caught my eye, but that I didn't think I would need, was how to create a training video for your fire department. Now, why would I need instruction on creating a training video? We already had a staffed video production unit. Although we were only cutting about 2 to 4 training videos per year, nonetheless, we had an operating video production unit, and I felt like I just didn't need that class. So I read the course description, made the decision not to attend it, and move on to marking all those that I would attend. You guys probably do a lot of the same things there. On my way to one of the classes, I walked by the video production class, and I was curious, so I poked my head in the door. I'm like, all right, man, I want to see what this dude's doing. So I walk in, and I was expecting to see all this video equipment, and he was going to show us how to cut a video and do all that. Well, there was no video production equipment. It was just a laptop, and I think he had an iPad and a laptop projector and an iPad. So typical stuff. So as the class start time approached, the seats started to fill up, and I decided to stick around to see what I can learn, because there was a lot of people that were interested in that topic, so that kind of sucked me in. Now, what I learned from that class changed my perspective on how video could be used to standardize a message. Because in less than 2 hours, that instructor, I don't even know if he's here. Is whoever taught that class several years ago here? It was Eddie Buchanan. So anyway, the interesting thing is use an iPad to shoot, edit, and post a video like that. It's like, wow, check that out. If you can do, I mean, in the past, our videos took months to produce. We had to get them just right. Hence, why we're only able to produce just a few a year. So imagine being able to produce 10 times that. And I started thinking, wow, man, I think he's on to something. So after sitting through the presentation, I ended up downloading iMovie right there. And while he's talking, I'm playing with my phone. And after the class, I go back to the hotel room. I'm shooting video. I'm practicing shooting video to see if I can really do it myself. I go back to LA County. I go to the station. I'm in one of the battalions at the time. And I tell one of the guys, I said, hey, come out here. I'm going to have you demonstrate something, and I'm going to make you a star. I'm going to put you on video. And he's like, Chief, I've never done video before. I said, no, it's going to be good. So, okay, yeah, keep talking, keep talking. So I go in there, edit it, and I get the music and put it on there. And I'm like, okay, first training video. It was pathetic. So the beauty of living in Los Angeles, though, is you have access to all these people that have Hollywood experience. So I immediately called my friends and other folks. I was going to training, and they said, hey, you got to get in touch with Ted, and you got to get in touch with Trent, and you got to get them involved, and these guys know what they're doing. I'm like, hey, I'm all about enlisting the help of my friends. So we get them in, and over time, we went from using iPhones to iPads to borrowed video equipment to ultimately winning a LA Quality in Production grant for about $165,000 to buy all new equipment and to really ramp up the system so we can be professional videographers in a professional video production unit. We've come a long way, partly because we were shown a new way of training at this very conference. So since enhancing our video production unit, and we've produced over, so that was in 2012, 13, we've produced over 230 firefighter training videos. That's a pretty steep increase, right? Those videos have been seen by almost 1 million firefighters spread out over 120 countries. All because of inexperience. I guess other firefighters are looking for training content just as our firefighters were. Our chief has instructed us to share it, put it out on the internet. Those things that really are pertinent to all the fire service, make sure you share it, and that's exactly what we did. So, take a moment to write down your problem. Keep it brief, only one sentence, and then go find that answer because it's out there. And remember, keep an open mind. Talk to people who know more than you. Discover things you know little about. Because these people will provide pearls of wisdom you would have never thought of on your own. And these pearls of wisdom will come also from trusted fire service affiliated sources like Underwriters Laboratory, like NIST, NFPA, NIOSH, USFA, the IAAFF, the IAFC. However, wisdom can come from just about anywhere. I was attending training in San Diego, and I'm riding the elevator, and a surgeon jumps in, and he's there training, and he's there attending a conference, and we strike up a conversation. And it happens that during our brief visit, he shared some things and some insights into training that we've implemented within the LA County Fire Department. So once we're open to learning, we begin to find connections and similarities, even in unlikely places. Recently, my fire department, Firefighters Association, hosted a training conference, and we invited Eric Thor Olson. It's a real name. Eric Thor Olson. He's not a firefighter. He was never a firefighter. Eric is a 38-year veteran of the U.S. Navy, former commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command, which all the Navy SEALs and all the specialty units, probably the baddest dudes in the world belong to that group. He was responsible for them. And he's the first 4-star admiral from the SEAL community. Very impressive individual. Now, Admiral Olson was there to teach us about individuals who work in hostile environments and how to lead them. He didn't make any huge connections to what we do as firefighters, but I certainly discovered them as he spoke to us. During a small breakout session with chief officers and company officers, he fielded some questions related to the fire service and emergency service work. 2 of the questions asked were this. He says, do SEALs struggle with accepting new ways to do things, or when new technology is introduced? And the other question was, do traditions interfere with their ability to accept change? Do those questions sound familiar to us? They should resonate with us in the fire service. Now, when the questions were asked, I think many of us anticipated him saying that change is tough and it's always a struggle, regardless of what organization you work for. However, he didn't say that. Instead, he said he encourages his SEALs to learn fearlessly. His SEALs went on to say that, or he went on to say, that SEALs are really interested in completing their journey and their mission successfully, but they're even more interested in being alive when it's done. He said that this drives the operator to know everything about their mission, about their role, about the strengths and weaknesses of their partners, and about their equipment. Everything. The last comment he made to this point related to personal accountability and excuses. He said, the fastest way for a SEAL officer to be fired after something went wrong was to use the excuse that we've always done it that way. You don't say that in that community, because it shows that you haven't learned fearlessly. It shows that you haven't turned over every stone. You haven't done personal research. You haven't figured everything out. Perhaps you quit on it. So let me pause to talk about why we should learn fearlessly, rather than citing tradition or saying we've always done it that way as a reason for action or inaction. Someone who was so passionate about their way, so deeply ingrained about how we have always done it, by their own definition, has a limited point of view. In order to make well-informed decisions, we need to see different viewpoints. It's better to be informed by other perspectives than to try to ignore or defeat them. Being well-informed means being able to consider different or new ways of doing things. And we've seen some dramatic ways in which we as firefighters train, right? We increasingly rely on online learning platforms and videos to supplement our hands-on training. For some, this has been a rough transition because of a perception that computer-based training is taking the place of quality hands-on training in the fire service. I don't believe it. I think this is nonsense. If you've allowed it to take the place of your hands-on training, that means you haven't made the decision to get out there and actually put your hands on the equipment. You make that decision. You make the decision to put your face in front of the computer. You can make the same decision to make your hands move around equipment. Now, I have a Volkswagen Vanagon Westfalia. You're looking at that car and you're going, why would he ever drive that car? I love that car. Because I can camp anywhere on the coast in California in December with that car right there, on the beach. But this car is an endless source of hands-on projects. Unfortunately. I don't quite understand German engineering, I guess, and because I need a lot of YouTube video to show me how to work on that car. That's a 1990 Vanagon Westfalia. That's all fixed up. In fact, all 5 Alkonis kids have driven that car. None will drive it now. Not looking like that. We just recently had it restored. So they have been banned. They know that. And it's mine and my wife's because it was all beat up. You can imagine 5 kids driving that from 16 to 18, then they go off to college, and it goes to the next kid in high school. In fact, the last kid, Piper, she's 18. She's going to graduate this year. We took it away from her. And she says, Dad, that's my legacy. That van has been in the parking lot at the high school for years. You can't remove that from me. I said, no, it's gone, babe. You're done. You're getting the other used car. You know, sorry. We could park it over. And then she pleads with me that I just need to drive it one day before I graduate for high school, okay? I said, okay, the day that I'm off, we'll park it over there, and I will guard it. It's our sixth kid. So anyway, to keep that thing running, we've had to do considerable work on it. I watch a YouTube video, it shows me what to do, I go out there and fix it. But think about it. How many times have you learned how to do something by watching just a simple YouTube video? Probably many times. In fact, we see our firefighters, right? They get their phones out. They're sitting in the big fluffy chairs, because I did it. Well, actually, YouTube wasn't quite available when I was a firefighter, but you know what I'm saying. They watch the YouTube videos of fires that have gone past to learn from them. So they're all doing that. But we have more access to information, including scientific research, than ever before. Yesterday I mentioned that I call it the age of discovery in the fire service, and it really is. Now we can choose to shut our minds and eyes to this resource, or we can really embrace it. Technology allows full access to information and training without the risk of physical harm, which may happen if you jump too fast to the physical part. Because without working through the information, maybe that's hosted online, you're going to miss the why and you're going to miss the how. Now, this isn't to say that high-fidelity, hands-on training should be avoided due to the risk. I'm not saying this at all. Don't misinterpret my words, please. Because I'm all about getting your hands on the equipment. I would love to go out there. Shoot, if we can all train together right now, I'd go do it with you right now with my hands. Maybe we can go exercise and then we can go do our hands-on stuff. But first, we've got to learn the principles and the concepts. That's important. Because what I'm saying is that drills aren't recreation. Drills are an opportunity to help our knowledge, our understanding, to become second nature. We want our actions to just occur. You view something, there's a stimulus, and your body can perform the action. Well, when we can, we need to train our minds to the reality using video or other forms of learning technology so our decision-making can be practiced over and over again in preparation for the real thing when lives are really on the line. The reality is that next week or next month or next year, someone will come up with something new to add or even a better way to train in the future. It's our responsibility as trainers right here to be open to new ideas, to be ready to objectively evaluate them. Hey, maybe there is a vendor out there on the exhibit floor right now, I know they're waiting for us to be out there, who has a solution to your department's training problem. Well, at 18, I jumped and I hyperextended my knee, and I knew things were really bad because I couldn't get my pant leg over my knee. That's bad, right? Yeah. When your knee is so swollen that you can't get your pant leg over it, and you're 18, and you're thinking, oh, I got a big collegiate baseball career, and it's all just went poof. I'm like, no way. So I had to go see a doctor. Doctor checked out my knee, and he comes in and he says, you're going to need surgery. I'm like, surgery? Back then, we all remember what surgery was on the knee. You had a scar from here to here. And you didn't see that athlete for a year. That was unacceptable in Derek Alkonis' world. I had worked hard to get to this point to be able to play college baseball, and it didn't look like it was going to happen. But then the doctor said another word. He said, arthroscopic. That word was unfamiliar to me at the time. Never heard of it. In fact, I don't even think he knew how to say the word very well either. It was that new. Fairly new on the procedure that he was going to perform. But I asked myself, could I trust it? And my other question was, hey, doc, am I going to be able to play baseball next, come the springtime? Now, the doctor assured me that this newer technique meant faster healing, less downtime, and a quicker return to my former activities. I placed my trust in his skill and his knowledge, and I said, let's cut it away. Let's do it. Well, in the end, the doctor was right. The new procedure was better. And today, this knee, look at this. It works really well. In fact, I played 4 years of college baseball. There was no problems. It's stronger than the other knee. What surgery, back then it took them, I think, 6 hours to do the surgery. Today is probably 30 minutes. But nobody wants a surgeon who rejects a better technique just to do things the way they've always been done. There is no place for closed-mindedness in medicine. There is no place for blindly clinging to tradition, not in medicine and not in firefighting. Continually citing anecdotal evidence or experiences that it cannot be validated to defend or determine one's actions is simply plain dangerous. But maybe that's what I did. Many years ago, another story. I was an engine company officer when we responded to a commercial building fire. Fire was extending through the roof, and the wind was at my back. I was second on scene, and I was assigned fire attack with the first company on scene. I ordered my crew to pull a 2.5-inch hand line, put a smoothbore tip on it, meet me at the front door. I was going to go in and check it out. I go in the front, I go in the man door. There's a hallway. I actually have my face piece in my hand because the hallway was clear. I make my way down the hallway. I go to the second door. I can see the fire at a distance. I can see the roof. I put my flashlight on the roof. I knew I had conventional construction over me, behind me, and even in front of me. I saw what was around me. When I started to leave, I noticed there was smoke making its way back toward me. I came back out, or started to make my way back out, started to back away. I didn't recognize what I had created. I created a flow path. At the time, I didn't fully understand fire dynamics. I didn't appreciate the effect the open door behind me had on the fire. Back then, it was open everything up, right? I relied on my physical skill, and I didn't engage my brain. I was comfortable, maybe even overconfident in my abilities, which essentially blinded me. I wasn't looking for the indicators that were key in making good decisions. I missed those indicators. I missed the signs of flashover. And because I missed it, one of my firefighters was burned. Because I failed to be a student. Because let's face it, most of us, it's the hands-on part of our job which comes most easily. Usually we are not comfortable with the learning that helps us make the good decisions. Maybe we resist it at times. We resist revisiting a skill or concept. We don't see that increased understanding can come from repetition. Others reject becoming book smart. We hear that in the fire service. Not realizing that the classroom experience and the fireground experience are essential to one another. The classroom and the fireground strengthen each other. It isn't our firefighting skills that get us into trouble. At least I don't think it is. It's those small moments of decision where real trouble is just around that bend. The real life-saving skills are seeing where danger lies and knowing how to handle it. So where are we? We are in a position to determine the future effectiveness of our departments to save people and their property. Right now, you and I could decide to be better, to train more effectively, to look for better ways to do everything, to hold ourselves accountable. Why continually strive to be better? We do it for the public we serve, those that we took the oath for. All around us, we respond to people in their times of distress and utmost tragedy. They depend on us. They trust us. They trust our decisions. We need to trust our training. In many ways, the fire departments we work for allow for the business of life to move forward. To paraphrase Admiral Olson, the men and women of the United States military are able to focus on their jobs because we are taking care of things at home. In fact, in every community, people can go about the business of life in confidence because the firefighters and police and emergency medical teams and a host of others are ready to respond to the unforeseen. The USS Fitzgerald deploys often in the 7th Fleet. They're forward deployed. As an officer, my son is charged for the welfare of those who serve under him. When he deploys, he leaves behind his wife and his 2 children and hopes for the support system at home, us, can care for and protect his family in his absence. And all of you that have relatives and sons and daughters and whoever and friends who have family members that are deployed, we protect them. We train for them. Every day, the people around us leave their most precious in our care, and they have faith that we are ready to protect and to serve them. Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great training day.
You know, before I let Derek get off the stage, the pin I'm wearing is because my son is currently deployed, embedded with a Special Operations Warfare unit aboard the USS Boxer right now, off the coast of somewhere we're not allowed to talk about. So one huge round of applause for all our sons and daughters, all our brothers and sisters who are currently defending this great nation.